everybody. This is Peyton with Gathering Hope. And in case you are joining us for the first time and unfamiliar with what we do, we are a nonprofit based out of North Texas, and we serve moms who have experienced miscarriage and infant loss. And so today I have a couple of new ladies, new friends with me. I have Denise and Adrienne. And these ladies they're from Delaware. So I'm going to let them tell a little bit about themselves. But what we're going to do this morning is we're going to talk about what Gathering Hope is. And we are going to talk a little bit about these ladies' stories. So first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for being brave and sharing with us. I know there's really nothing comfortable about being on video, but it's okay. And I'm just really excited to hear from you guys, hear about your story, hear about how Gathering Hope is going to come to Delaware. And so Denise, why don't you start and tell me a little bit about you.
So my name's Denise. I live in Delaware, born and raised. My family and we all live sort of what we call the compound.
Okay.
Because my mom lives to one side of us, my brother lives to the other, my grandma lives in the back. I've been married to my husband, Chris, for 12 years.
Okay.
We enjoy being outside, working. We work a lot.
Yeah.
Hanging out with, we have a son, Garrett. He turned 5 this year, so we do lots of fun stuff with him.
5 is such a fun age.
It is a fun age.
It's a lot, but it's a fun age.
It is.
Adrienne, tell me a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Adrienne. Also born and raised in Dover, Delaware. I have a husband, Ken, and a son, Chris. Ken and I have been married for 4 years, and Christopher is 7. Some things that we like to do, hanging out with family. We're a big football family, go to church together. So all those things we like to do.
Awesome. You guys are some of the busiest people I know. But I can tell just from the few times that we have talked over video and texting and things, it is very clear that you guys are really rooted in your community, for one, and that you love your community. You're very passionate about your community and your families. And so that is one thing that I love about you guys. So I'm going to start with Denise, and I would just love for you to share just a snippet of your story. And you can share as little or as much as you want to.
Okay. All right, so bear with me because I've actually only shared in a large capacity once, and
okay.
So being recorded and interviewed, and so just bear with me, and I'll be as transparent as I possibly can.
Okay.
So Chris and we got married, and we were building a home together, and as we were getting ready to move in, we were surprised a few weeks after moving into our home that I was pregnant, and that was something that was completely not planned. We actually were kind of living the carefree, married, let's travel, let's go here, let's go there, spontaneity, and so we were really, really surprised. Friends would say, well, you just built a house, so it just makes sense that you would try and fill it.
Yes.
But we learned that, it's not my plan. It's not Chris's plan. It's God's plan.
Mm-hmm.
And he blessed us with Garrett. And that was 5 years ago. When we were growing up with Garrett, the first couple years, there was just this really completeness about our family. Still an opportunity that we felt like we could really grow if we had another child.
Mm-hmm.
So we had plans at the time, in the best of plans, say that
yes.
go ahead and try. And we got pregnant after a few months of trying, and we had a few ultrasounds, and we were blessed with a pregnancy. And going through the ultrasound appointments, there was some concerns. But with Garrett, we also had some concerns. So I kind of felt like God prepared me for Those ultrasounds, I already knew sort of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But after about 18, 19 weeks, our baby was really just on ultrasound pictures. She was just really struggling. And
Okay.
so the doctors, who I always like nickname doom and gloom, because they don't really always know everything that's going on, but they always err on caution. They were just very cautious. And so I feel like God sent me at a sense of peace. Like, if something happens, Denise, like, it's okay, I got this.
Yeah.
So
Even if we don't like the answer, he does give us peace in the strangest of times.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So we went to the ultrasound, and we did find out that we lost our daughter, which we named Leah. And at that point, we were about 19 weeks, 6 days.
Okay.
And in Delaware, recognizing through a death certificate isn't recognized until 20 weeks. But if I had waited to deliver her, it would have been my birthday week. And it was just one of those moments in time where if I, thought about it later, who knows? But I went to the hospital. We delivered her. It was very, I was very comfortable. I did not feel alone at all.
Did you have family with you? Was it just you and your family?
It was just Chris and I.
Okay.
So when we left the hospital, I left the hospital without a baby, and that was the most difficult. It's something I didn't expect that I would feel when that happened. So when I got home, there's all of the paperwork things that you have to do too. So I took some time off work. And I realized when I was calling in for like short-term disability and things like that, and the operator says, "Hey, I just want to congratulate you on your pregnancy and your maternity leave, and hope you have a really restful time." And I was like, it really hit me at that point that I was going to have to start explaining, my time off and things. But I really went into a very sheltered place. I was disconnected with my family, my church family. Did you say disconnected, or you were connected? I was disconnected with everyone else, but I stayed connected with my family because I didn't know how to answer anyone's questions, because I didn't know how to answer my own questions. Yes. And I was actively grieving. It was super difficult. I really didn't know how to recognize that God was healing me at that time. It was, it felt like he was a million miles away. And I realized he hadn't really gone anywhere. I just kind of stopped talking. So I got back into the Word. I never really like separated myself at all, but there was a moment where you felt so alone and so broken. So I started reading scriptures that I feel like I'd read before, but they had a totally different purpose and meaning to me. Like a new freshness. Yes, after a new one. So, excuse me. So it was super difficult. But then I reached out to a grievance counselor as well. And the power of prayer, and just got to a comfortable place. So we didn't want to replace Leah. We just felt like, we were at another point that we thought we would try to grow our family. And that was about 6 months later. And we became pregnant with a baby boy. And about 13 weeks after carrying him, we lost him as well. Wow. So it has allowed us to really think maybe unconventionally how to grow our family. It also allows us to recognize that we are not in control. But in the meantime, it also allowed us to find that there's purpose in pain. And sometimes when you go through something that hurts so deeply, you're looking for an earthly answer. And humans can't necessarily do that. It's not something that, I've talked to other people who have been through, really significant trials, but
there's something about this, this kind of pain of losing children that it's almost as if you only talk to someone else who has been through that, like they can nod their head and say yes. And I think that there is nothing more confusing about this kind of pain, given that's what we're all experiencing here. But it's also not something that you can explain how God sees you through it. You know, it's just kind of a supernatural thing that happens, and you just, there aren't good words for it that humans have. So, yeah.
Right.
Anything else that you want to share? Tell me a little bit about what healing has looked like for you guys.
So my husband is a craftsman, so he and I went and we started working on a project together, remodeling and doing some things, even though we had just moved into the house.
Yes.
Not that long ago. We keep an open conversation about how we're feeling, what thoughts are in our minds. That's been great. You know, it's something that I don't know if we would talk about unless we went through that together.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's something that we needed to have in order to bring our marriage stronger, because I feel like we talked but it's just something that we both have experienced together. He was very understanding and sincere.
Yeah.
And so if I'm talking kind of crazy, he's genuinely listening to me, and he'll give me some, honest, loving feedback. So it's just
sounds like a great guy.
He's amazing. He's an amazing person. He's an amazing person. But he's a dad that's also lost 2 children. So I recognize that I also have to support him and help him. And so sometimes finding my own healing, it helps because, we healed together, and I didn't have to go through it by myself. Also recognizing that my parents all went through a loss as well. Wow.
Did you know about that before, that your parents had lost babies?
No, but for me, yes. Like for just being able to connect with them, knowing that as grandparents, they lost their grandchildren. So
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So that allowed them to just, comfort and be supportive as well. So
doing a good job. I know that this is really, really tough. I was thinking about, before we started recording this morning, I had gone to breakfast with a friend and praying for the 2 of you and praying for how this would go. And it's a really brave and vulnerable thing that you guys are both taking on. This not just sharing your story, but the project. And so I want to say thank you. But what God was sharing was with me that, like, He is glorified through everything, even through this pain. And there is, I don't want to be cliche, but there is like so much joy from assembling these moms together and knowing that we're not alone. And I just think that there's a lot of healing that you guys are bringing to your area of the country. So like you said, it's definitely not for nothing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Adrienne, do you want to share some of your story with us?
Sure. Okay, so it was my first pregnancy because Christopher came as a love child. He was a 10 son. I met Christopher when he was 2 years old. So Ken and I were married in 2015, and I found out that I was pregnant July 2017.
Okay.
I conceived in December of 2016. I know we were trying, but we weren't trying, if that makes sense.
Absolutely,
We knew
yeah.
that we knew that we wanted to, grow our family, and we wanted Christopher to have siblings at our house. So
Yes.
I was super surprised when I found out I was pregnant. I was so happy, and we were super excited. And
There's nothing like a human, right? Like there's nothing more
yeah,
exciting than a human being.
yes. And I was like, people were telling me, you're not supposed to say anything until your your second trimester,
Yeah.
just in case something happens. And I was like, nothing's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I'm believing God that this baby is going to be just fine. Nothing's going to happen. I was telling everybody else at the grocery store, I'm having a baby. Like,
Yes.
I was
People at the
so
grocery store.
excited. Yes. And within weeks. Like, I did not wait. I told everybody because I was so excited. And I felt like not telling people was maybe a way of me not having faith to believe that everything was going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't wait. And then in my birthday weekend, actually, in February, I started bleeding, and I was calling people like, hey, is this normal? Because, again, this is the first time I've ever been pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my friends were saying, yeah, like I bled my whole pregnancy. And some people were like, that's not normal. So I called the doctor, and the whole way I'm there, he's like, we need to do an ultrasound. So the first ultrasound I had, they had the monitor where we could see. This particular ultrasound, they did not turn the monitor. It was away from us. We couldn't see anything. And at the time, I didn't think about it, but now I know why.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was a little nervous, but I was still like, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And then I was out at dinner with my niece and my son and my husband, and I got a phone call that the baby had miscarried, and I was getting ready to go through having a miscarriage, and I ended up just passing. I was 9 weeks.
Okay, I was about to ask how far along you were in your pregnancy.
Yeah, so he said I could just try to pass it myself, or come in and they could do a procedure, and I just, said I would just try to pass it. And it was the worst weekend ever. It was so painful physically and emotionally. Because I had told my son and I told my niece, and they were so excited.
Yes.
And it was just heartbreaking to have to tell them. They were so confused, like, what do you mean? She's going to heaven, So, and then I almost felt like a sense of embarrassment because I was telling everybody I knew, like, no, God's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to make sure everything's okay. And it didn't work out that way. So I was almost like embarrassed too. So
lots of expected feelings, no matter how far into your pregnancy you are. Like it just the tidbit of your story that you've shared so far is what I hope people hear is that it doesn't matter at what point in your pregnancy you lost your baby. It all is painful, and we're all missing somebody.
Yeah. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I loved my baby immediately.
Absolutely.
It could have happened a week later, and I feel like, you know what I mean? I still would have felt the loss because, when you find out you're pregnant, you love them immediately. So it was definitely difficult. And I too kind of went through some spiritual kind of troubles. Like, I've always had a relationship with Christ, and I just kind of got quiet.
Okay.
I didn't know what to pray. I thank God for people that knew that were praying for me, which is why I feel like I was able to come out of that. But I just didn't even know what to say. I was heartbroken. My feelings were hurt, and I was disappointed.
Yes.
And I almost felt like, I was believing in you. I was telling everybody to believe in you. Like, this was your time to shine here, guy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I could not understand. I was just like, I don't understand this. I was reading scriptures, everything by the word, and I could not understand until Gathering Hope. And it all made sense once this ministry was introduced to me, and it was just like, oh, that's why,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
Because I can't, people in my family and friends that, like you said, that have never experienced it, they don't really understand. And I would not be able to help women who've been through this if I never went through it myself.
Right.
So I can say now, today, that I thank God for allowing me to go through it, because I've been able to, even before Gathering Hope, I was amazed by the women that I encountered that I was able to share my testimony with, and it actually helped them and encouraged them. So I thank him that he trusted me enough and trusted Denise enough and you and Carol enough for us to go through something tragic, that he knew that we would help somebody else.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that. Is there anything else that you want to share? No. Okay.
Yeah.
We have about 10 minutes left. But what I want to ask is if you will briefly share with me how you guys met. And then once you guys met, how did you guys decide that bringing Gathering Hope to Delaware was something you wanted to do?
Okay. Well, we have a mutual friend. Hi, Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
We have a mutual friend, and Denise and I were pregnant around the same time, and we miscarried within months apart.
Okay.
And I connected with her through Bridget, because when I told Bridget I was pregnant, she was like, oh my God, my friend Denise is pregnant. So I was like, I'm going to be praying for her. And then when we both find out that we had lost our babies, I told Bridget that I wanted to connect with her. So, I would send a card, or just tell Denise, like, send her the scripture, or just tell her I'm thinking about her, or, things like that.
And y'all had y'all had never met at that point?
No. We just met last year, like physically. We just physically saw each other last year. So for years we had a connection without even seeing each other.
Got it. That's so amazing to me.
So it is.
Especially because how small Delaware really is.
Exactly. It's so small. But there was an event in our community, and I was supposed to come to the event, but something came up, and then Bridget just sent us each other's number in a group chat and just said, hey, you guys just need to really connect, on a higher level. So we called each other and talked, and Denise said, I'm thinking about bringing something in Delaware. Look at this video. What do you think about this? And it was the Gathering Hope video.
Okay.
And that's when I knew. I watched the video and I was like bawling, and I just said, okay, God, this is why. This is why. Everything comes to this. So
I'll put that link in the when I post this. I'll put the video in the comments for everybody.
Yes, it's a beautiful video and explanation as to what Gathering Hope has to offer. Yeah. And she sent it to me. I started getting like all these visions of, oh my God, we need this here. And I just got super excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got to do this in Delaware. So I was like, I haven't stopped thinking about it ever since. So
oh my gosh,
I'm so excited.
Thank you for sharing that. Denise, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think with Gathering Hope, what helped me the most when I connected, or just watching some of the videos too, is it allowed me to recognize the courage and the testimony of the mothers and their stories and their children's stories. And I realized there was so much power in that. And I think as human beings, we naturally gravitate to each other for common interests and common things that we like to do, but we also need each other when there's something like this, when pain that we're going through. We have to find each other's support, and then that common bonds can be God and can be hope.
Yes.
So when I saw what Gathering Hope was doing in Texas, that's why I reached out to you, and I'm like, we really think that you should do this nationwide. Let's start with this sweet little state of Delaware that we have here.
I can't wait to come.
It's so fun. So Adrienne and I met, and it's been within a year of the works of us talking and Zooming and texting and emailing. So I'm super excited, and
I'm excited too. When I got your message, I was like, how did she even know about this? So I'm just continually, I shouldn't be surprised anymore, because I had a friend remind me not too long ago. She said, you really have the opportunity with what you do. You get to see God up close a lot. And she was so right. I mean, we really doing this work. And so I'm really excited to see it already. God is already moving. And we haven't even brought the gathering there yet. So you guys are working really hard, though. And soon you're going to start building a volunteer team. And I'm just excited to see what happens. Adrienne, you have been to Gathering Hope in Texas. And so what I want to ask you is, what would you say to a mom who's unfamiliar with Gathering Hope? What would you tell her why she should come? If she's apprehensive or just even curious, what would be the one thing that you would say why it's worth it to be there?
That's a great question. I can just say from my experience that I got on a plane and went all the way to Texas for one day, and it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
I left Gathering Hope and I sat in the parking lot for an hour. I didn't even go back to my hotel room. I couldn't even wait to get to my hotel to call my husband. And I just cried and I told him all about it. It was the most beautiful experience. To be at a place with all of those women, to cry together, to pray together, to worship together, to talk. It was a safe place. It's a safe place. You don't have to feel, I know that it might feel uncomfortable. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. And if you want to be heard, it's a perfect opportunity for someone to hear your story. And even if you feel like, oh, I'm not really close to God, it's a place where you can meet him and just feel peace. So I would just encourage you to just try it. If you're nervous, bring someone that you love to come with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I feel like you will not regret it. From the time I walked in the parking lot to the time I left, I felt welcome. I felt loved. I felt like I was being prayed for, that I was being supported, that I was being lifted. I got a sense of, encouragement and strength that you just cannot get, and hope that you can't get from people who may not have been through what you've been through. Yeah. So it's almost like they said, a sucky sisterhood, but it's
sucky sisterhood. We say it. That's right.
Yeah,
we do.
You want to join. I promise you, you want to join. Mm-hmm. And I've made connections with women that I was there with that I've never met in my life. They were from Texas, and I'm from Delaware, and we have a group chat that we send our prayer requests to. So you just need to come and make connections. Awesome. and just come.
Awesome. We have just a few, less than a minute left. Before, if this cuts off, we'll finish up the conversation in the comments. Adrienne, would you tell, or Adrienne, not Adrienne, Denise, would you tell everyone when Gathering Hope is in Delaware?
So Gathering Hope is going to be Saturday, August 1st, 2020, and it's going to be at the Smyrna Church of Christ in Smyrna, Delaware.
I'm so excited for this.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? Is that right? Okay.